Hello, Management 1010 Interdisciplinary Leadership students. So March has begun. We're getting close to our very first test. You've earned some scores on quizzes and on writing assignments, and I suspect that your mind may currently be on extra credit. Now, this is listed in your syllabus, and there's detailed information in the Dropbox, but I wanted to really emphasize this to you at this particular point because now that you're kind of in the groove of the class, I think you're ready to focus on this if this is something that you want to do. I want to take a minute to tell you my perspective on extra credit, which it is that extra slice of the pie, folks. It's not a requirement. It is something that's extra. Consequently, you're going to have to give extra to earn the extra credit points. I have not set the bar high. That's not what I'm saying. I do get feedback from students that are saying, well, this is just one more thing that we have to do, and there's almost a little bit of irritation with it. Well, that's because it's extra credit. And one thing that I will not do, just to put the stuff in balance, is I can't at the end of the semester say, oh, just write me a 1 or 2 page paper and it's going to be the same as what all the students have done throughout the semester, all those quizzes and all those writing assignments, and we'll just say that it's exactly the same and call it a wash. That's not going to happen. Not going to happen. But with that said, the extra credit assignments offer you an opportunity, not just within the class. It's something that I think can build up your resume, your portfolio, give you some more things to talk about in job interviews, things like that. So, I think there's a lot of good stuff here. It's the extra scoops of ice cream with all the fixing. It's that extra slice of the pie, okay? So there is a little extra involved. But that being said, very doable stuff. Now, let me first flash to the syllabus, and I am on page 8 of the syllabus, and this is where we initially talked about extra credit. So I encourage you to go back to your syllabus and look at this. One thing that it says is that you have 2 opportunities to earn extra credit points. Each project, now I use the word project loosely, we're going to talk about that, is up to 5 points. So you have the opportunity to earn 10 points here. Not 10 points on top of your overall grade. Instead, when I describe how do you calculate your grade, as you add up all the points that you've earned, you also add in those extra 5 or 10 points, whatever you earn on extra credit. So they increase the amount of points that you earn without increasing those points that you were required to earn. That's how I add up extra credit. You can read pages 8 and 9 of the syllabus, and that will help to clarify. Okay. I'm going to start by going to pause. This is our course in pause, and let's go to the Dropbox. Here you see many documents and of course the Dropbox itself. I'm going to click on extra credit assignment number 1 to open it, but what you might observe is that these documents are the same, and again that's because you can do up to 2 service learning projects. So I'm going to click on extra credit number 1. And this is what I'm explaining. The first thing that you have to do is decide on an activity that you will participate in. This activity must be registered with our Service Learning Office, and I'm going to talk more about that. You may have an activity that you participate in right now. If it's not registered, it would not count. However, you can register a project, and there's benefits to doing that. So I'm going to talk about that. But doing the work is not enough. There's a very, very small writing assignment that accompanies it. It's a small writing assignment, but I ask good things. I ask for good work in this writing assignment. It is 2 paragraphs. As you can see here, or if you can't, you'll be able to read it in the Dropbox. The first paragraph, you are simply going to describe your thoughts about the service project prior to participating. Maybe you are fearful. Maybe you're excited. Maybe you're only doing this because you want to earn some points. I don't know what you're feeling, but I want you to take some time and in one paragraph, not one sentence, not one word, but in one paragraph, I want you to explain how you felt. Do a good job, and I'm going to tell you why. Spelling counts, grammar counts, okay? It has to make sense. Don't just slop something out there to me now. You won't get the points if you do that. But there's bigger reasons here, so bear with me. After you complete the service project, you're going to write one more paragraph. In this second paragraph, you're going to tell me if your thoughts have changed and how you feel now. Maybe you still just did it for the points. I doubt it. You might be the first, but most students come away from these experiences with more than they expected. I have had students tell me about people that they networked with and found summer jobs as a result of talking to them. I've had students tell me how they found somebody that is interested in or already doing the same career that they plan on doing and were able to really get some good advice from that person. I have had students who said, I was really struggling between two different career decisions, and as a result of working in this event, I have found my passion. I've gotten all kinds of feedback from this, so I'm anxious to hear in your second paragraph what your experience was. Now, notice that I say that you need to format this in a professional manner. Put a title at the top. Put your name on it, folks. Most people forget to put their name. You're not going to forget. You're going to put that on there, okay? Spelling and grammar counts. Here's why. If you will submit these to me and do a nice job on it, you know, where I don't have to go in there and basically rewrite it to make it look good or to make it make sense, I'm going to forward your experiences along to our service learning office and possibly also to our college newsletter. In that way, they may, it's up to them, but oftentimes they do, publish your work. They'll say, this is the writing of a student who participated in service learning. So you can be published in the college newsletter. That is a possibility. The benefit to you is that you can make this part of your resume, part of your academic portfolio. If you are looking for scholarships, you might want to include, you know, something like this in your scholarship application to say, I'm community-minded, I'm service-oriented, and I demonstrated leadership by serving in a service learning activity. Remember, our study is about service learning. Okay, now, down below here, there are some documents that we need to very briefly go through. I will tell you these are very important documents. You cannot just go out and do an event, serve somewhere, participate, volunteer someplace, and say, well, that was it. The event that you choose must be registered with our service learning office, okay? How do you find an event like that? Well, my recommendation to you is to talk to them. If you can talk to them in person, that would really be ideal. I'm going to pull up a website. This is, let me go back one. If you go to the college's main webpage and search for service learning, but I'm also going to give you the link myself here in just a moment, you'll come to this webpage that explains to you what service learning is and what it is not. Also, you'll see their department locations. We have a location on the Macon campus. We have a location on the Union campus. And also contact us information. Now here you see department telephone numbers, but there's also a contact us link. So here are some people that you can talk to. I'm going to go back because I also want to show you over here volunteer opportunities. So let's look at these volunteer opportunities. Well, tutoring is a great opportunity, and as you might imagine, this can be a long-term commitment, but not all commitments have to be long-term. And I'm going to show you, there's Alton Elementary, Brinkley Heights, Common Ground, Door of Hope, Grow Memphis, Junior Achievement, Memphis Center for Independent Living, Memphis City Schools, Memphis Literacy, Student Activities and Multicultural Affairs, right? There are all kinds of projects. Folks, this is not a complete list. There are organizations that contact Southwest all the time and say, can we register with you as an event? You may be working with an organization right now that would benefit by registering with Southwest as a service learning project. I'll give you a great idea. Last semester, I had a student who said, I'm the pastor of a church. and we collect clothing and coats and shoes. They do it year-round, and they needed people to come in and sort the clothing by age, by gender, put it into boxes so that when people came to look for the clothing, they could go directly to, the stack or the rack or whatever, the pile that they needed to look through. So she asked me, can I count this as my service learning project? Well, at the time it was not registered with the college, so the answer was no. But I said to her, contact the office and ask what's necessary to register. It is not a hard process. We want to form those relationships, so we are interested, and we're not going to put up a bunch of barriers to that. So she contacted the office and said, can I register my event? She did. There was a form to fill out. Then she herself registered as a student volunteer working on this event, and she earned extra credit. So you can register an event. There are existing events, and if I was you, I would call up. The person at the desk at the service learning office is going to say, what kinds of things are your passion? What are you interested in? Okay, and they can start to match you based on those kind of things. We do work with animal shelters. We do work with women's organizations. There's all kinds of, even WKNO, their action auctions. I mean, all kinds of events that I just too many to list here. Let's go back to pause. The first document I want you to look at down here is the writing assignment, and this is going to just explain to you in a little bit more depth. This is the document. I've already opened it. Here's a link to the Service Learning website, and I explained to you that you need to select an activity, that you need to complete the forms, and then again, this is an explanation of the 2 paragraphs that you need to write. So you can read that, right? The next document is called a hold harmless waiver. Now, I've already clicked that, saved that, and I'm going to show that to you. You need to read this. You need to read it carefully. And then you're required to sign it, date it, get a witness, and you turn this in. Who do you turn it into? You turn it in to the Service Learning Office. You are going out on behalf of the college to participate in something. We have students who volunteer as part of a service learning event to clean up the banks of the Wolf River. Okay, so you'll sign this hold harmless agreement, turn that in. Has to be turned in before you participate. Now, how should you act once you're on site with the event? Well, Southwest has these student participation guidelines. Again, this is something that you need to read and you need to sign. Oops, I think they ask you to sign the bottom of this and turn in. So you're going to want to do that. Let me make my own plea to you on behalf of this. If you were a student volunteer cleaning up along the banks of the Wolf River, there's a certain way you would dress. You would probably wear blue jeans and maybe some really sturdy shoes and gloves and things like that, right? There's a certain way that you dress and that you act when you're on site, because if you are horsing around on the banks of the Wolf River, something bad could happen. You could slip, you could fall, you could injure yourself, somebody else, right? We don't want to do that. In contrast, what if you had decided to tutor at the Memphis City Schools, at Alton Elementary, at Brinkley Heights? If you're going in to help a 3rd grader, a 4th grader, 6th grader to read or to write, you are a role model. You're a leader to that person who's looking at you. You may not think so, but that's how they see you. So if you go in flip-flops and shorts that are really short and a tank top, then that young person thinks that this is professional attire. When I grow up, that's how I'm going to act when I go someplace and visit. That's not how you should represent the college in that particular situation. You need to put on shoes. You need to have on, you don't have to put on a ball gown, but you can put on pants and a nice shirt. And you set the example for business professionals as you go in to help that person. Okay, so that's all this says. Folks, this is stuff you are hopefully doing anyway, so it's no big deal, right? But it does have to be done before you begin the project. Finally, the student registration form itself. And I have to admit, as I looked at this form, I noticed I have a slightly old one. So I'm going to ask you to mark up a little change. Notice that down here it says Spring 2012 semester. If you would, before you turn this in, you can either make the change on the form and make that 13, or if you would, you can scratch it out and just write Spring 2013 over the top of it. Again, this form must be submitted to the Service Learning Office, not to your instructor, to the Service Learning Office before you do the event, before you participate in the event. So what are you doing? You're filling out your name, your address, your contact information, the course, Management 1010, the Spring 2013 semester, and all this kind of information. Okay, so this is pretty straightforward, and I think that you can do it. Now, you turn in all the forms, you participate in the event, you then go to a word processor. You write your 2 paragraphs, you format it professionally, put a title on top and your name, and you spell correctly, and you use proper grammar, and you submit that file into the Dropbox, and you can earn 5 points of extra credit. That's just, once again, that extra slice of cake, the extra scoop of ice cream, the extra slice of pie with whipped cream on top, right? And you get to add to your academic, your portfolio of service and leadership in the community. So I think this is a win-win-win. You can volunteer in so many ways. If you're thinking about going into childhood education, things like that, tutoring would really look good in your academic portfolio. If instead, if you participate in WK, you're more interested in networking, volunteer for the zoo, whatever your event is, take your church event and register it. We also do work with SERVS, SRVS, which helps the mentally handicapped. So there are so many opportunities here, folks, and I encourage you to explore those. It is a little time commitment. I do have students who say to me, I have children and I can't get away and that kind of thing. And I understand that. If you talk to the Service Learning Office, you might want to say, I have certain time limitations. I have to be able to do this in the morning, during the week, on a Saturday, on a Friday, so that they can find something that best meets your needs. Now, you have to be flexible and you have to be willing to put in the extra in order to meet that need and to earn the extra credit points. But in a leadership class, to a servant leadership study, I think this service to the community is a wonderful opportunity for you. So as you're finishing your assignments for this week, this midweek of the semester, and you're looking at our first test and you're going into spring break, I hope that you'll give this some serious consideration. And I hope you do a good job on the writing aspect of it. The 2 paragraphs are not much to ask. Do a good job so that I can pass that along and really promote you to the Service Learning Department and to our college newsletter. Okay? Thank you very much, folks. Keep up the good work. Stay strong. And we'll talk to you probably after spring break and after the test. Thanks.